Welcome back to the Notary Podcast hosted by me, Daniel C. Lewis. Love doing this each and every week. And this week, we have a hot topic. You're not going to want to miss this topic about moving from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset or a business owner mindset. Hang on to your hats. Here we go. Welcome back to the Notary Podcast hosted by me, Daniel C. Lewis. I'm so happy to do this podcast each and every week. And if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. We thrive, our podcast thrives on your likes and share. If you haven't liked our podcast yet, please hit the like button. And definitely, we have a lot of people that like our podcast, but we want you to subscribe to our podcast. It's free. It's a free podcast. Subscribe to our podcast today if you like the content. And if you really like the podcast, please share the podcast in your groups. We also want you to make a comment below and comment on the podcast, the content on the podcast. And if you have some type of topic that you want us to cover, make sure you put that into the comments. I am Daniel C. Lewis. I have been a notary entrepreneur since 2003. That's a long time. That's 22 years now. And today, I want to talk about something that comes up in the notary meetups that I have each month. And when I go out to conferences and I talk with notaries around the country, this comes up a lot, especially right now, because we have a lot of federal layoffs with jobs. We have a lot of businesses that are closing. Let me just give you an idea of the businesses that's closing. This year, I just saw a report that there's several businesses closing like Macy's, Family Dollar, J.C. Penney's, Joann Fabric, Rite Aid, CVS, Walgreens. There's a lot of businesses, and that's just to name a few, a lot of businesses out there that are starting to close their brick and mortar shops. So this is going to be very important because we're going to have a lot of people coming into the notary field, but also I got something for the notaries that are in the field, an opportunity for you. I'm going to be talking about that a little later, but we have a lot of people moving from the employee mindset into the business mindset, a notary entrepreneur mindset. They may come into this business just to start a business part-time, sometime full-time. But I'm going to talk about 7 things that you should do to shift from that employee mindset to that business mindset, because it's very important to make that general shift. First, if you want to be a notary entrepreneur and you want to make that shift, one of the things you got to keep in mind to make that shift is that it has unlimited income potential. As an employee, your earnings are capped by a salary or hourly wage. Business owners, however, have the power to increase their income based on effort, strategy, and marketing demands. Making that shift, you just got to keep that in mind. You got to keep in mind, one of the things I tell notaries coming from a corporate environment to a notary entrepreneur environment, that they have to do a projected sales and then have an action plan toward that projected sales so they can hit the numbers on their projected sales. And they always start with calculating their expenses like their mortgage, car payments, utilities, and things like that, retirement. They want to start there, calculate all that each month, and then project your sales for whatever community you're in and then do an action plan to hit those projected sales. So it's an unlimited income potential if you're going from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset. The next step is greater control over your time, going from that employee mindset to a business owner mindset. You have employees must adhere to a fixed schedule, but business owners set their own hours. The flexibility allows for better work-life balance and the ability to prioritize personal and professional goals. I always, each year, each quarter, each month, each week, each day, I set up what's called a map of life. Now, what that is I say each hour, I say, I'm going to have this amount of time for my family time because I am a husband, a father, a grandfather. I have this amount of time for my family time, sending I just sent Valentine's Day cards to my grandkids. I text them all the time about what's going on in their life, or I might take them to an amusement park. I set that time for my family, my wife, my kids, and my grandkids. But then I have time over here set for my business, marketing, doing this podcast. I have that time. It's called a map of life, and I set that time. Some people have a digital map of life. For me, what works for me is to write it down in a journal or planner, and I have that each and every week. I always have what I'm doing, and I make it flexible so that if I have more time for my family, I'm going to spend more time for my family. If I have some time to read on how to better market my business, read how to be a better business owner, I'm going to do that. But I have that time set up, and I have greater control over my time because I'm not set on somebody's schedule, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's resonating with you. The third reason why you want to move from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset is wealth building through ownership. When you own things, I heard a podcast yesterday talking about how, for example, Michael Jordan, when he was a player, a lot of people say he was the most powerful basketball player in the world at the time that he was at the top of his game. But the podcaster was talking about how at the end he was laid off. He was let go. Because he had influence, he didn't have power. He gained power by purchasing an NBA team, getting the majority stockholder in the NBA team. So with that said, having ownership of your business is better than working a job. A job provides a paycheck, but a business builds assets. You're shifting that mindset from a paycheck to assets. Entrepreneurs create long-term wealth by owning a business that can appreciate in value, generate passive income, or even be sold for a profit. So making that shift, because I know when you're as a employee, you're thinking, oh, I got these expenses. As a business owner, you say, I got these assets. So wealth building through ownership comes into play when you are a business owner. The fourth thing, freedom to pursue your passions. Many employees work jobs out of necessity. I know a lot of people say, I have to work this job. I have to have this job. They work this job out of necessity, not passion. As a business owner, you can create a career around something you generally enjoy and find fulfilling. I'm going to tell you, I have been doing notary entrepreneurship, general notary work, loan closings. I've been doing that for 22 years now, full time, and I really have a passion for it, helping people close their loans, helping people obtain assets. I just have a passion for that, and meeting people all throughout the community, meeting multi-millionaires to a person that's doing a transaction to keep their lights on. I've met so many people over the years, and I'm so happy and proud that I was just a little part of them moving their life forward or evolving their lives. Number 5, increase your financial security. And I know people think, well, if I get a job, that's financial security. If you talk to the federal workers now, they don't see that as security. If you talk to I used to work for a company called, and some of you may know this company, it's called AT&T. I worked for the company. I know when I was hired to work for AT&T, my manager came to me and said, this is going to be the last job you ever have in your life. Because she truly believed that. And then 2 years later, I was going to her, taking her to the corporate HR office, and they were letting her go. There's no such thing as a job security anymore. A single job can disappear overnight, like many of us finding out, leaving you without income. A well-run business, however, offers multiple revenue streams, making you less dependent on any one source of income. When you work a job, you're just getting that one revenue stream that people used to depend on. This is not the 1950s anymore. We're in 2025, and you can't depend on one revenue stream. You have to have, when you have a business, like I have a business that I depend on. I have notary signing agent work that's dealing with real estate. I have things coming in from classes. I have general notary work. Things come in. I have apostille work. I'm wedding officiant. You have all those different income streams coming in, putting in to your bank account, helping you with your fulfill your dreams and giving you peace of mind, if that makes sense. Hopefully this is resonating with with people out there. The next reason why you want to go from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset, it's an opportunity for you to impact your legacy. Employees contribute to someone else's vision. I remember when I worked in corporate America jobs, they said, we have a vision to do this. We have a vision to do that. And I remember that at one of the companies, and it was AT&T, they used to put these suggestion boxes out there and say, if you have a suggestion on how we can operate our company more profitable, make our company more profitable and efficient and effective, please just drop it in the suggestion box. And I said, I thought about it, and I had a couple of suggestions that I thought, this might work. If they implement this process, it'll make the company at least 10% more profitable. I put that suggestion in, and I remember to this day, they took my suggestion because they wanted it anonymous. They took my suggestion, they implemented it in the company, and at the end of the year meeting that they had with the employees, said, we took this suggestion out of the suggestion box, and it was mine. I knew it because I put it in there. And they said, we made over 40% more profit. The company made 40% more profit. I didn't make anything. They didn't even thank me for my suggestion. They just took the company to another level with my suggestion. So if being a business owner, you can build something that can outlive yourself, whether it's a brand, a family business, or a meaningful service that impacts the community. It's nothing more gratifying to me than taking just a blank sheet of paper, writing down an idea that I have to build my business, whether it's marketing, branding, or creating a workshop or online class or anything like that, to see that evolve into a profitable idea. It's just nothing better than that. Nothing that brings more joy to me than seeing that, unless it's seeing my children or grandchildren grow up and develop into really great people in the community. Number 7, continuous growth and self-development. Moving from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset. I keep a journal, for example, and I will write down in October, I write down what I want for the following year, how I want to implement that. And there's nothing more gratifying in a personal development point of view to see that, okay, I want X amount of closings, real estate closings. I want X amount of car deals. I want X amount of classes. I want X amount of I-9 verifications that I do. There's nothing more gratifying to put that down, work on the action plans to implement that, and then looking at that during each month, each quarter, each year, and seeing those things come to fruition. Business owners forces you to develop skills in leadership. Let me say that again. Business ownership forces you to develop skills in leadership, marketing, sales, and financial management. Unlike an employee role where your learning may be limited, entrepreneurs are constantly evolving and growing. And I can't say that enough. With that, I want to say that I want to give you two great points of how you can build your business as a business owner and develop that consistent income coming in. And the way you do that is by what I call the DC method. The DC method is diversification. You have to diversify your notary business. You absolutely have to. If you're going to stay in this business for 22 years, retire from this business, you have to diversify your business. When I started off, 100% of my business was notary signing agent work. That's all I did. I did real estate. That's it. Real estate transactions, purchase loans, HELOCs, reverse mortgages, second mortgages. That's all I did, real estate. And then something happened in 2008 that the mortgage industry collapsed on itself. After it collapsed on itself, I had to rewrite my business plan. And one of the things I did, which I'm very proud of, is that I got I-9 verified. I was certified to do I-9s, and I started doing I-9 certifications. And if you're looking at diversifying your business and you've been doing just real estate, I would highly recommend you get certified as an I-9 verification specialist. We have that on lewistraining.online. I would highly recommend you go there and get certified for I-9 verifications. And the reason why I say that, and I've been saying that in my videos, is because we have, like I said earlier, federal layoffs. We have brick and mortar businesses closing. All those thousands, hundreds of thousands of employees are now going to be back in the job market. They're going to need to work. There's a lot of businesses now that are starting to hire people to work remotely. In my last 5 assignments, when I went into people's homes and doing like car deals, for example, the spouse was in the other room answering the phone in a customer service setting saying, "Hi, welcome to ABC Company. I'm so-and-so customer service person." In order for that person to do that, they have to have an I-9 filled out. Think about it. Thousands of people are being laid off now that's being in the job market, and a lot of companies are looking to hire. They're closing down the brick and mortar buildings to save money, and they're hiring people remotely. I-9 verifications was on the forefront back in 2008, and it's still here. Now it's more regulated. It's a federal form that has to be filled out, and most times people seek notaries to fill that out. So get I-9 certified. So diversification is the first thing I said, and the C of that is certification. You have to be certified now. When I became a notary, it was like breathing, pulse, you're a notary. I wouldn't fill out an application. I was a notary that day, the same day. That doesn't happen anymore now. There's so many processes that you have to go through to become a notary in most states. And once you become a notary, in order for you to be hired, there are people who are looking to hire notaries. They're looking for some type of certification process. Did they have some type of training in this? So make sure you're certified by an approved certification vendor. I'm an approved vendor. lewistraining.online is an approved vendor to certify you on a lot of things like I-9, notary permit runner. We're going to have more certifications for you at very inexpensive price, so definitely do that. So now to recap, I'm not going to talk more about that, just to recap on why it's important to move from a employee mindset to a business owner mindset: unlimited income potential, greater control over your time, wealth building through ownership, freedom to pursue your passion, increased financial security, opportunities to impact and create a legacy, continuous growth and self-development. These are the things you want to do to build that notary entrepreneur mindset. And remember, diversification, certification. You can get a lot of those certifications through lewistraining.online. That's it. That's what I have today. Hopefully this was beneficial to you. And I know we have a lot of likes on here. Let's build that subscriber list. Hit subscribe today. You want to subscribe to this, and that really helps us keep this going for you. Thanks so much for joining us again this week. Next week, it's going to be fantastic. You're not going to want to believe what we're going to talk about next week. So join us again next week. Hit like, share, subscribe. Hopefully you'll see you again next week. See you soon.